Today we're going to be looking at another one of Shiey's videos. Specifically, this one where he explored a working nuclear bunker with vehicles and gear. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Tyler Folse. I'm a nuclear engineer with a little over 10 years of experience in the commercial nuclear power industry. From engineering to operations to emergency response. I don't claim to know everything there is nuclear, but I can certainly share some knowledge. Let's check this out. Going underground is usually a good start. This looks like some old abandoned stuff like in Pripyat or something. By the way, if you want to see my reaction to his journey through the Chernobyl exclusion zone, I'll pin a comment down below. It looks like I'm watching someone do a playthrough of some of those survival horror exploration games. Not sure where this is.
I've been trying to get into this bunker for 3 years now, on and off, and I'm finally here. This is a huge one. I'm gonna walk around, turn on the lights on.
Tell it's a well-developed complex. I see the HVAC systems, which, if it works anything like how HVAC systems work in the control room of a nuclear power plant, they're designed to maintain a positive pressure, so that positive pressure will prevent any radioactive particulate matter from going in. That is actually converse to how HVAC systems operate in the fuel handling building, the room where the spent fuel pool is located. They operate as a negative pressure because that's the room that's designed to have radioactive materials in it. So it would actually suck the air in the room to keep the radioactive material from escaping.
And show it to you.
These old lights, surprised they work.
I don't even know where to start with this one. There's a bunch of vehicles around me. There's a bunch of rooms. I guess I will start from these cars. Going clockwise.
Some old looking cars.
The room I started. Makes sense. Damn. I don't even know what brand this is. Looks cool. What the hell is this thing?
Part of one. It's like we're going in some kind of time capsule here or something. A lot of these Cold War, I'm assuming this is Cold War era. Different time, different culture, different fears.
Supposed to be the pedals? It's kind of cool.
And see what parts of the car survive and what parts are gone. An interesting study into both equipment resilience and what sort of stuff people take after a while.
Rest it out. Oh shit.
Not sure how long this place was abandoned, but their entire programs with a program engineer that just, it's a type of engineer that just specializes in, say, corrosion control, and they coordinate all the maintenance activities for corrosion control within a nuclear power plant because it's designed to last a very long time. 40-year initial licensing, plus it's very common for them to get license extensions of 20 years and then another 20 years on top of that. Possibly even longer than that, but nuclear power hasn't been around long enough that nobody's looking at the 100-year license extension, or the license extensions to 100 years yet, but I'm sure that'll be coming. But in order for it to get approved, there's rigorous testing that has to be done just to make sure the equipment can be maintained, and lots of bits and pieces would require replacement at that point.
What the fuck is an American car doing here? Wow, there's evils in the door.
Full disclosure, this video is not sponsored by Chevrolet, either on his channel or on my channel.
That's some weird shit.
Or any other car.
This is a Lada, I think. It smells like diesel.
And it makes sense to keep vehicles in your bunker or any sort of complex that is intended to survive, because you're going to want to have access to vehicles for obvious reasons, especially if it's a nuclear related complex or something. You're going to want to have plenty of your critical spares on hand, but you're definitely going to want to go back into the world, even if you're going to be a somewhat of an insular place at some point after waiting for a bit for, if this is post nuclear exchange or something like that, after waiting for things to settle down, you'll definitely want these to go back out in the world, and plus have a plentiful supply of, if they're diesel or regular petroleum.
Cool.
It's a whole parking garage complex under here.
I will come back to the fire truck. Goddamn. Let's see what's in here. Whoa.
Rates. Food, provisions maybe?
Fully new, unused.
Respirators.
GP7 masks. Oh yeah.
Still in the packaging, wow. They were prepared. And those masks would, if there's radioactive particulate matter, would help in that sort of consideration. They wouldn't help you from getting dose. They wouldn't really help dose, particularly gamma radiation dose, because it's just going to go straight through the mask. They're not like, but it'll prevent you from inhaling contaminants and getting really nasty internal doses. Most protective clothing for radiation in general is about preventing contamination and putting radioactive materials in unknown conditions and configurations. Less so about reducing dose. That's one common misconception out there. They're very important at what they do, but they typically won't reduce your dose unless you're just strictly talking like alpha or beta dose, very short range, but those typical clothing would protect you from that.
These are baby masks, the ones I saw in Chernobyl.
Yeah, that's a grisly reminder to pieces in history. I even remember seeing in museums even older baby masks that were issued during World War II, because after World War I, everyone was concerned about gas attack, that they issued these masks to civilians, and that would include babies.
Goddamn. Helmets.
Hard hats.
Medicine packs. We got huge filters.
Wow.
And GP5 masks. Mask pouches. I've seen bunkers with equipment like this, and I've seen all of this equipment spread around individually.
Probably not this much in one spot.
They're in this perfect brand new condition.
That too. Wonder if they'd have SCBAs, though those are mainly for more hazardous atmospheres that you typically struggle to breathe in, or what's known as IDLH conditions that's immediately dangerous to life and health, the sort of things that firefighters would wear. But just like with any PPE, the thing that offers the highest level of protection isn't necessarily the most conservative, depending on what job you're doing. And the classic example is, if you're wearing a respirator, that'll reduce your dose by a factor of 2, but the added bulk of the respirator makes the job take 3 times longer. Wearing the respirator would actually be the less safe option for a critical job that you'd have to do if you're exposed in a radiation field in that particular situation. Every job is different.
Well, you have been hiding here.
Whoa.
Holy shit.
Some kind of armored vehicle?
It's a goddamn BTR.
BTR.
Beat up as fuck, but...
Okay, I can tell more and more it's from somewhere in the former Soviet bloc, though I'm not exactly sure where, just judging by the font and the types of vehicles and equipment at this point.
Tank in a bunker. Well, it's only seen its day. Damn.
Look at that.
Even though this is rusty as fuck, it's so cool. Did they stash it here in case the nukes drop and they need to fucking roll out or something?
I mean, it's gonna add more inches of steel plating between you and the radioactive sources, so it would attenuate more gamma rays compared to a regular car or going out on foot, so it is a source of additional shielding. I've never personally been involved in a radiological briefing that involved the use of armored vehicles, because they've all been within buildings, secure buildings, but I guess that in extreme scenarios, such as a nuclear war type scenario, a post-nuclear war type scenario, the addition of armor, that sort of radiation shielding, would help out.
Alright, that's the exit. That's locked. Time for the fire truck. Nice, it still has all the equipment inside it.
Fire extinguisher, yeah. At the plant I worked at, the plant operators would actually get fire brigade qualified, and we would run several drills, several simulated fire drills, and we would even send them to train at various live fire courses in order to properly respond to fires. And there's an emergency procedure that includes a bunch of fire pre-plans for a fire in any particular building within the nuclear power plant. Needless to say, a fire at a nuclear power plant would be a bad day, and it's very important. Like, we would not take the watch without having qualified fire brigade members on site, manned 24/7 at all times. The shift crews were trained to fight the fires and operate the plant as necessary to keep it running, to keep it safe. Or I should say, to keep it safe, even if you would need to emergency shut down the reactor to protect from the fire. But it was very important that we had our own fire brigade on site, because a remote location, the off-site fire department's 15 minutes out. We would still call the off-site fire department and off-site medical if necessary, but the true first responders to a fire would be the plant operator. Look at this relic.
Well, never been inside of a fire truck before. This is the same fire truck model they used all over the Soviet Union, meaning they used these type of fire trucks in the Chernobyl disaster. And I'm just thinking, like, being behind this fucking huge wheel in this goddamn tin can, rolling forward towards an open reactor.
And with no briefing, no preparation whatsoever about what kind of hazards there were. I don't know obviously we don't know the exact communication loop, what each firefighter was told, but for all we know, it could have been just, oh, there's a fire on the roof, not specifying what caused said fire on the roof of the building.
All right, I want to get on the roof of this thing.
Nowadays, if there was a nuclear power plant on fire and it affected any of the radiological controlled areas, they would be briefed by health physics personnel to ensure that they are kept as safe as possible from radiological hazards.
The water cannon, siren, I guess those are the water pumps.
So old school. Love it.
God damn, this is crispy. I see that whoever owns this bunker just dumped all their trash in. But they're pretty cool tutorials here. How to build.
You could tell it's been abandoned. anything involving critical equipment, say firefighting equipment, equipment to safely shut down the reactor, PPE. I think they did a pretty good job on their PPE with their masks being well preserved. But there are periodic audits to ensure each of these critical lockers have everything in them, which is important because a lot of emergency response procedures that involve anything to do with firefighting or any of these equipment would say, hey, go to locker 147 and inside you will find X, Y, and Z. And if they're not in there, then, well, that's not a good thing.
Self-maintained bunker. That's how Boom Boom looks, and this is what you will feel. Loss of vision, headaches.
Wow, those little pamphlets and placards that look like what you'd see on a plane today. But it makes sense to have those sort of things in there.
Wow. Yeah, these are all the consequences. That's how to use equipment, that's the procedures. I guess they learned a lot of this from the Chernobyl disaster.
So I don't understand that language. Well, I couldn't tell you what these procedures say, but it looks like it would have guidelines on radiological hazards, survey guidelines for people to measure radioactive dose, sort of procedures to do if you have a personnel contamination event, what all the big hazards are from nuclear explosions. That sort of thing is what I would expect to see in there.
Although it was basically around the same time they were building these things. A lot more posters there, but they're just terribly obstructed by this junk. That's the thing about bunker preservation. A lot of people see these as just storage units and just throw all the old, historic shit on the side, make room for.
Exactly, because those really bad accidents and disasters, that sort of stuff will never happen, right? There's an entire standard on housekeeping at a nuclear power plant that for this exact sort of reason.
They're fucking fire trucks and tanks. But, looking at this car, I can kind of appreciate the new owners here.
Here we go.
Shiey. Looks like a goddamn Batmobile.
You can tell what they put their effort into preserving the most. There's no really cool vehicles at the nuclear plant that I worked at. Mostly, we did have a fire truck, mostly various pickup trucks, which makes sense for most technicians to be using. Quite a bit of golf carts, just for getting around the yard more easily for plant operators.
Smells like shit. Wow, this is a comfortable seat. Okay, and there's two more.
Oh, it rolls out.
Like a fucking limo. So this is the main entrance. Huge ceramic doors. That one's probably thick as hell as well.
Oh, it would have to be.
Yeah, this is where the power stays at. Really don't want to mess with anything here. Huge ass filters, I think. This was supposed to be a diesel engine, but gone.
Oh, they took away the generator, probably used it for something else. Should have some big exhaust pipe, because you wouldn't want to take it that leads out somewhere. After all, you don't want to run a diesel inside. See if he finds that. Yeah, there's all kinds of backup diesel engines at a nuclear power plant, some of which are massive, about that big. You can see the size of a person for scale. Where I worked, each reactor would have 3 of these, and just one of these would power everything you need to safely shut down the reactor. Oh, and there's backups for these, backups for the backups, and post-Fukushima, there are diesels that are stored on site, smaller than this, but that can be brought in from off-site if you somehow lose every diesel engine at the plant.
Those are bathrooms and showers. Boring.
But important. What's interesting is if there were like clogged toilets, in an emergency operating center for a nuclear plant, it would be considered inoperable because the toilet would, because it's all connected to critical plumbing and HVAC systems that it could mess with. So getting someone to unclog that toilet was a priority.
Right, so this is the area that I started in. This is where the real command is made, in this command bunker. We got a planning room, communications room, key room.
It's like offices for now.
They got everything here. Let's go.
Well, look at this.
I think this is the management graphs and building plans of this bunker. I will study these when I scan through the footage, but if they reveal the location, I'm gonna have to hide them. But this I think is the warning board. Attention everybody, and I think this is the drills they have to do when...
This sort of stuff looks very similar. So I've never, albeit for the drills being nuclear accidents, not a nuclear war or whatever kind of nuclear facility this is. But it wasn't a bunker, but it was like a remote operating facility for the emergency director and the team to coordinate emergency response efforts and relieve the shift manager from the emergency director, which position when things have escalated. And here you bring in all the additional experts. So not just the on-site reactor operators and maintenance crews. Here you'd bring in the extra special engineering support teams, additional maintenance managers, health physics managers, generally more senior people. But this entire organization's goal was to support the on-shift crew in combating the accident. I say the entire goal. There was another portion of it was outreach and interfacing to the local authorities to coordinate any sort of protective action recommendations, such as evacuation or shelter-in-place order. But that doesn't actually take as many people. Here, it's mainly the experts to help you out for really crazy emergency scenarios. And they have to get some pretty crazy scenarios to basically defeat all of your safety systems to make it even remotely challenging for the on-shift crew. So the emergency drills were actually... they could get pretty unrealistic, or at least super duper unlikely. But it was important to do these mainly to, one, plan for the unthinkable, and two, just to train the off-site team and their ability to help the on-site crew. I've been on both sides of that, been part of the off-site team and part of the on-site first responding crew. And these scenarios got pretty interesting.
Them light up.
Phones.
Yeah, phone's dead. Okay, this is the command room. Locked, of course.
Obviously, the one I'm used to has way more computers and workstations and that sort of thing. I'm not that old. I've never done anything from this era of technology. This looks like something that existed well before I was born. Locker room.
Oh shit.
Communications room.
I guess this was the speaker.
Public address, radio.
I wonder how many nukes I'm launching right now. What the hell is that?
That's good. Nah, it looks like a communication switchboard of some sort.
It's a weird phone. Dead, of course.
There would be all kinds of phones, both direct ring down lines, which I take most of you are familiar with, like the red phone you see in either like the White House or the Kremlin or something. There were such phones like that both at the nuclear power plant itself and at emergency operating centers. And it's just a quick line to the local authorities, the state and county authorities, to make notifications of an accident. There were also satellite phones, microwave phones, radios, integrated computer systems that would get into the plant's computer. There's a whole communication hierarchy procedure, as in what phone to use under what conditions.
Just imagine sitting here and waiting for the fucking end. Goddamn.
That is
Nice.
big. I like how he just goes up and just starts operating every single switch. I mean, can't really blame him. Been an operator before. It's kind of satisfying to do that. Not that I ever did that on an operating nuclear reactor without following an approved procedure, of course. And obviously knowing what I'm doing.
I guess this is the entrance to the command room.
That's a entrance. I'm not sure it's the normal way you get there. Light's still working. Ah, that hum. That's a good sign right there. This is so cool. There you go, Mr. Emergency Director, or whatever the title of this position would be.
This place really makes me feel something. It's like a travel back in time.
Mm-hmm. Just look at the paneling.
Everything works after like fucking I don't even know how many years. 1990s. Man, that lamp is really buzzing. Shakmati. Signal.
That is loud.
Gotta write down signals, I guess. Another speaker. Mask. Guess I'm gonna have to blur these as well because I see that they show the location. What the hell? Wow.
Some pretty serious phones.
Is this like international or something? These are the phones that should work to communicate back to, I guess, Kremlin or whatever.
Yeah, like I said, phones are important. Communication's the most important thing in any sort of emergency scenario.
The radio still works, just the antennas don't work because they're outside.
Sure.
This is plan schema. Not gonna show that.
Pretty well preserved.
Okay, so there's the water room. A bunch of these all over this place. There's like 2-3 more water rooms with like a couple of these huge things. Showers. And the key room. Luckily for me, everything was already unlocked. Damn, those are ugly shoes. Well, here it is. God damn. This is the most impressive bunker I've visited so far. It's not the biggest. The biggest was the one that...
That was really cool. I know this video's been recommended a lot, and I really appreciate that. Surprisingly similar to emergency operating facilities, albeit this one's ancient for nuclear power plants. Got that whole big tunnel entrance. Yeah, I never worked in one that had a tunnel entrance. Wonder what it looks like from the outside. Of course, he might not show it because I might give away the location. I can understand that. That was really cool. I really enjoyed Shiey's look into this bunker. That was cool. Time capsule and a glimpse into the world of accidents and emergency preparedness, even though I'm sure this was built with warfare in mind, but quite a bit of crossover. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.